So, to be honest with you, bro, I don't really want to be a cop anymore. Can I do this heist with you? Yeah, sure. But first, I'm gonna need you to take these drugs, make sure you're a real one. I'm not kidding, that actually happened in this movie. What up, my YouTube family? Today we are reviewing Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. You know what? I'm gonna take a different approach to this movie review. If you've seen my previous movie reviews, I feel like I be yapping too much at you guys in these reviews. So today, how about we have a conversation? How's your day going? You good?
Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry.
This time I'll give you a little bit of analogy on how I feel on the film. So do you remember those little bubblegum things that you would get for 25 cents at the mall, and then you pop it in your mouth? Pause.
What?
You pop it in your mouth and it tastes good for the first 5 seconds, and then you're like, all right, why do I still have this in my mouth? So that's pretty much how this movie felt. The heist was, wow, this tastes really good. And then you're like, all right, what else you got? Or let me give you another analogy. You remember when you would go to Blockbuster with your mom? Actually, I don't know how old you are. You might be young. You might not know what Blockbuster is. Me personally, I'm 26.
Damn.
I would go to Blockbuster with my mom. She let me rent a video game. But then I would also want a candy, you know, at the front when you would go to check out. She'd be like, no, I already got you this video game. So it was a bittersweet moment. You got your video game, but you didn't get your candy. That's also how this movie felt. I'm not so sure why this movie got a sequel. I don't know who asked for it. I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. It was a decent movie, but not too sure it warranted a sequel. It didn't do too good on the critics side. Rotten Tomato score, I'm gonna put it up here on screen. I don't know how it did at the box office. I'm gonna also put it here on screen. But yeah, here we are. It's a sequel and the first real movie of 2025. So like I said, I'm gonna try to make these a lot more laid back, more like a conversation between me and you, these reviews. So the first thing about Den of Thieves 2, Pantera, is I believe it was way too predictable. I feel like the heist itself was entertaining. You know, I had fun with the heist. Kept me on the edge of my seat, you know, figuring out how they were gonna do it and how they were gonna pull this off, because it was one of the hardest heists in the world according to the movie. But I think that was great. But I feel like all the twists and turns they try to take us on, that was very predictable. Like especially the twist at the end. Like yeah, I saw that coming from a mile away. And I don't think you have to be a real film buff, a real movie buff to see that twist coming. So yeah, it was very predictable. That was my biggest problem with this sequel. That unlike the first one, I really didn't see the twist coming from the first one. And they felt the need to include another twist in this sequel, which I felt was unnecessary. But here we are, and I predicted it. Because I'm just like that, I guess. The second problem I had with this movie is that it was way too slow paced. I feel like the lead up to the heist, all the steps they took to get to the heist, took way too long. And they tried their best to explain to us how they were going to do it, but you don't really know until they actually do the heist. So the lead up for me was unnecessary, and they just wasn't done properly, because they didn't teach us the steps on how they were going to do the heist. In other heist movies, you kind of like see, oh, okay, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And then once they get to it, you see the plan coming into fruition. And this movie is like, oh yeah, this is how we're going to do it. And then you're just kind of just sitting there like, how though? And then they finally do it in the heist and you see it and it's cool. But the lead up just takes way too long and it's too convoluted. And there's too many extra scenes in this movie. The third problem I had with this film is that there's too many unnecessary plot points. By the end of the film, there's something that leads you to believe that there will be more Den of Thieves movies. So I feel like the last 10-15 minutes of this movie was to set up a potential third film, a potential fourth film. And I absolutely hate when movies do that. Like first, give me a good movie, and then if you want to add maybe 2-3 extra minutes at the end to hint at a potential third or fourth movie, then that's fine. But they literally took the last 15-20 minutes of this film to try to like create a whole new world for this franchise, and I absolutely hate that when movies do that. So that was my third biggest problem with this film. But hold on, I feel like I've been bashing this movie way too much. Let's talk about what it did good. I think our protagonist, you know, Baby Ice Cube, I'm sorry, that's kind of disrespectful. I think Gerard Butler, like always, brought his A game. He's one of the highlights of this film. O'Shea Jackson Jr., you know, he kind of shows that he can also carry a film, because they are the two protagonists in this film. It's both of them feeding off each other's energy that makes the film work. And I think the chemistry they had between actors was great. But that's pretty much the only solid thing of this movie was their performance, because I do think that they weren't helped by the screenplay. I think the writing was a little bit weak. Like I said, there's that in the intro. Like I said in the intro, there's this one part where they literally make Gerard Butler's character take a whole bunch of drugs just to make sure he's cool and not a cop anymore. Which I guess that would make you feel better. But overall, I'm gonna say that Den of Thieves was a movie that could have been good, but it really wasn't. So I'm gonna give Den of Thieves a 4 out of 10. And as far as the Eddie G reviews, the Ground Entertainment reviews, I'm gonna go ahead and review how those work again. Tier 1 is my special films shelf, where all my special films go. This movie will not be joining that. Tier 2 is, it was a good film, but watching in theaters one time was enough. Tier 3 is, you might as well wait for it to be free on a streaming platform. And Tier 4 is, I will buy the Blu-ray to this movie, but so I can burn the Blu-ray. And for Den of Thieves 2, I'm not going to be burning the Blu-ray, but I will put it on the, you might as well wait until it's free on a streaming platform, because it's just a pretty meh movie overall. But anyways, those were my thoughts on Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. Let me know what you thought in the comments. If you loved it, if you hate it, let me know. Please consider subscribing. And this is Ground Entertainment. I'm Eddie G, signing out.